Välkommen till programmet Tro och under som vi sänder från Mediemission International den här söndagskvällen igen. Jättekul att du är med oss och vi ser fram emot ett fantastiskt bra program även den här kvällen. Vi försöker alltid vara fokuserade på ett område i taget och det ska vi göra ikväll också. Vi lever i en mycket märklig tid. Vi upplever att det är krig i Europa. Det som händer i Ukraina är en mänsklig tragedi. Ett krigsbrott skulle jag vilja säga. Vårt arbete har vuxit enormt de sista åren och vi har jobbat mycket i Ukraina, vi har jobbat i Ryssland och därför känns det helt naturligt för oss att få lyfta det här. Innan vi går vidare så vill jag bara säga det en gång till. Att vi är så tacksamma över att du finns vid vår sida, att du ger i med dina resurser, dina förböner. Vi behöver mycket av bön. Vi behöver mycket av support faktiskt i vårt arbete. När utmaningarna växer så växer också utmaningar på alla områden. Men Gud är på vår sida och Gud har försett oss så långt och vi tror att det vi gör är någonting som rör vid Guds hjärta också. Och tillsammans med dig, för det är ett tillsammansarbete, så tror vi att det bästa ligger framför och att vi kan få göra skillnad i människors liv. Tonight is a great honor to have Ari Talja with me in the studio. You're heartily welcome, Ari.
Thank you so much, Morgan.
It's looked like in the middle of this, disaster and this war zone we experience in Ukraine, you are quite satisfied in a way?
I'm satisfied in my personal life as I can stay here, but as I see the footage from the ground, it's totally different ballgame there.
Yeah. God is in control, I used to say, anyway, in one way. It is.
Absolutely, and we have very good reports about their prayer responses on the field. Yeah. As according to the Ukrainian churches, as they have been praying, and all the Westerns have been praying for enemy and number 10 times more than Ukrainians maybe in terms of military power. They haven't been able to take over the Ukraine as they planned, and there have been miraculous responses to the prayers of people as the soldiers are defending Ukrainian borders. They have seen how ammunitions and missiles haven't hit the target, and a kind of invisible hand is controlling all their behind, and they have even reported that they are kind of know where the enemy is located as there is dark, and they are ready to prepare their strategies accordingly. So we believe that God is in charge despite all the sufferings and all the horrible footage that we have seen from Ukraine.
Yeah. But it is so that we have in our mission work, we've been working there for quite many years. I mean, in the East Ukraine, in Mariupol, Luhansk and Donetsk and so. We have been there on the ground, hands-on actually, for so many years.
Absolutely. We have this father of orphans called Gennady Makhnenko, who is my personal hero. He has adopted altogether 3,000 children starting from Soviet Union times. Yeah. During these decades, he has adopted them and provided them better homes. And of course, he has chains of orphanages. But currently, he has 35 adopted children at the moment, and he has evacuated them from the city of Mariupol. We used to donate, there was greenhouse, and there was also a hen house, meaning that we were actually providing food supply to those orphanages and to those adopted kids. Yeah. And he has done such a tremendous job. He's also chaplain. He has a successful church there, and he's there working in the front lines ever since all these 8 years that the actual Russian aggression has already done there in eastern Ukraine and in the nearby of Donetsk.
Yeah, because this is actually the very first program we have concerning Ukraine after the war as we produce. So. For those people who don't follow us or are a mission friend to us, what can you say? What have we done in the East Ukraine in the previous 8 years? I mean, we have printed books and so on. And
absolutely. In terms of Ukraine, we have done altogether 3 campaigns there, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah.
In Kiev, that was the most successful and it was powerful campaign, and we have spoken about that. But in Sevastopol, that is located in Crimea, that is now taken over by Russians. I have been even there personally as there was campaign going on, and it was so fantastic. It's a naval.
Which year?
Sevastopol was probably it was year 2009.
Yeah.
I was just arrived to IRR-TV for the position. I almost my first trips were to Sevastopol to see the campaign going on there, and
wow.
It was fantastic. People were sharing roses and books, and all the churches were involved in the campaign. It was powerful to see that.
So we have been on the ground with our mission work for quite many years.
15 years, I would say.
15 years is a long time.
Yeah, it is a long time. And we have very good networks inside the cities in terms of churches. And that's why the humanitarian aid that we have now been able to deliver, it's so easy because we know all the people and they know us. And actually, Dr. Hannu Haukka, who is the CEO of IRR-TV, he's the person who we can thank of because he has created excellent networks inside the whole Ukraine.
Because when people hear this, because I know that so many people in Sweden, they really want to give resources and support and also pray. So when you say that we have been there for 15 years, we have network, we have personal contacts with people, it's pretty safe to invest in our mission work concerning Ukraine.
And definitely, I would say, because, for instance, Yuri Babinets, who is the leader of the biggest church in Ukraine, I think that he has almost 10,000 people in the church. It has grown tremendously after the first campaign we did in Kiev. He's now in charge in our latest campaign, the third campaign that I mentioned in the eastern Ukraine that already started on the 15th or was it 14th of December. And he's man in charge there. He has networks there, and he has now put his church for the evacuation center and actually network of churches because there are so many churches he's supervising. Hannu knows him personally, and it's fantastic to work this kind of person. I have even interviewed him before the war, and he's such a humble man, but leading a big ministry in Ukraine.
But Ari, we must say that what we experience now is a disaster.
It is.
I mean, you mentioned to me that you have seen footage from Mariupol, especially.
Yeah.
And this is, okay, what can we say?
We cannot imagine the reality there. I was just watching our own documentary that Hannu Haukka was there taking maybe 2 weeks ago. He was there on the ground, and we have get footage from Mariupol. I haven't seen those footage in Finnish TV, in any other channel that we put on Alpha TV, and it was something horrifying. And all the first-hand stories from the people how their mothers and mother-in-laws and all their relatives are in the surrounded city of Mariupol. They cannot get them out there. They are just calling phone calls that they are telling about human flesh fried because of the ceasefire, the fire that Russian tanks and all kind of missiles are devastating and decimating the whole city of Mariupol. We cannot imagine. The mayor of Mariupol reported that actually 20,000 civilians have lost their lives. We cannot confirm those figures, but there are at least 2,500 people who have been already buried. And we are speaking now about Bucha, which is nearby the Kiev. That's another story. That's the whole Western speaking. But we haven't done that. We haven't entered yet Mariupol, and I'm afraid that we are going to find out something horrible. But at the same time, the Ukrainian defense is something remarkable. I haven't seen this kind of defense anywhere. And I know that many Ukrainians are Christians, and they love their country, and they don't want to be part of Russia, and they are ready to defend them to the last man. Yeah,
I heard someone saying to me that a very high percent in Ukraine are evangelical faith. They have a believe in God and Jesus Christ as the Son of God, and they have a faith. I mean, there is also a spiritual war in one way.
It is a spiritual war, definitely, I would say, because Eastern Ukraine, actually, Kiev is the center of Eastern Europe Christianity. I've been there I've visited the churches. There are so many huge churches. Of course, there are Orthodox churches. There are many kind of churches, but it's a spiritual center of the whole Eastern Europe. Yeah. And in the sense, now Russia is attacking against all this. And it's horrible. Yeah.
But Ari, what can we say to the Swedish mission friends we have? Because what to say about Mariupol, maybe we have not seen the end yet. What can we say? What do you really want to say to the Swedish viewer?
I would like to say that please keep praying for them. Please keep providing all the supplies they need, because there is now actually evacuation taking place, and IRR-TV has donated free vans to constant evacuation between the cities of Mariupol and Zaporizhia, which is in the eastern part of Ukraine as well. They are evacuating from 5 kilometers distance of the city because people had to walk there. On the afraid of missile hits, and some of the civils have been hit as they are trying to evacuate themselves. But we are going to the villages there, and we have donated 2 sprinters. Actually, they can facilitate 18 persons at the time, but they are now crowding 50 person per van. So at row they take 100 people out of, and that's constant drive between Mariupol and Zaporizhia. And actually, IRR-TV friends and our Christian MP connection here in Finland made it possible that we were able to provide for 150,000 euros medical supplies to the field hospitals in Ukraine. And we packed those vans before they left there with these kind of medical supplies and aggregates and reserve supplies, electricity that is now cut off there. So they were so grateful. I saw the eyes as the people said that you are like angels, you provided this help for us, and that's exactly what we need. And you came even risking your own life, he said, the local people said to Hannu as he arrived there. Because he has heart for Ukraine, and we all have heart for Ukraine. And I would say to the Swedish Christians and all the viewers who are watching, please pray for Ukraine, and please also provide the humanitarian aid. And at the same time, we are still also meeting the spiritual needs, because we are now printing 300,000 books. It's a tailor-made book for refugees as they arrive to the new destination. It's a trip to home. That's the title of the book. And it's a 2 sentence. In one sentence, you are arriving from a war zone to the safe location. But it speaks about your trip to the heavenly realm, the eternal home. Parable. It's a kind of wonderful parable between these two. And now we are printing 300,000 books to deliver it on the border of Slovakia and Ukraine, Hungary, and also Slovakia.
It's amazing work. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because what we experience now, I think everyone, Christian or non-Christian, are really touched by this. And it seems like in the war, people are seeking God also, in some way. We need to feed the humanitarian, of course, needs, but also the spiritual needs. It seems like people are asking for God.
Definitely, they are very open, especially nowadays refugees as they arrive to different locations in Sweden, in Finland and other parts of Europe. They are open to the gospel, and for that reason we have also decided to print 20,000 pieces of these campaign books for Sweden and for Finland. All those people and all those churches who are willing to receive. And if there are more that needs to be printed, we will print another one. But we start with 20,000 pieces, and that's for the churches.
Yeah, so if churches and pastors are watching this program want to have some books in Ukraine or Russia, they can contact us and we can try to help them.
Definitely, we must now arrange the logistics, but it means that it's in euros it's about €2.5 per piece, and depending how many you are ordering, we can get you a discount.
It's coffee money for Sweden.
Yeah, okay. Correct.
Of course, if you compare it to the needs, I mean, it's coffee money.
It's true.
But I think we had a small insert, a short one. Insert. So I think we will take a look at the insert right now.
Мариуполе. Там больше 1000 людей, говорят, что было в театре драматическом. И туда сбросили очень мощную какую-то бомбу, и театр завалился весь.
Наши держат оборону чудом. Если честно, я не знаю. Бойцы, пацаны наши регулярно звонят и говорят, мы держимся, все в порядке, мы прорвемся, хотя видим, что круг все сужается и сужается. Уже в центре города идут уличные бои с автоматами. Хотя вчера еще было на окраине с танками. Тут.
Welcome back to the studio. We saw insert right now from what's happening in Ukraine, and what you said, Ari, it's touching my heart because, especially when you're talking about Mariupol, and now we understand that the soldiers, the Russian forces have went back to the very east part of Ukraine. We don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Have you any information about? I mean, we have centers, we have contacts people there, Gennady Monenko. So we know that Gennady Monenko also was experienced a huge, missed one of his daughter.
Right.
It was a disaster.
It was disaster. He was devastated, as we heard to our morning devotion, that now he had lost his 27-year-old adopted daughter that he had adopted in an age of 10 years. He left behind, she left behind actually a 3-year-old kid and his husband, her husband. So we were so devastated as well, and we were praying for that divine reconciliation and divine blessings would overflow him as he sorrows. But at the same time, he haven't stopped to do the evacuation.
No.
I've seen his feedback. Yesterday, I'm his Facebook friend as well, so I watched his live report from the latest days. He was telling about this, how he's devastated his heart. But Gennady is going on and pushing, and now he has able to evacuate all those other 34 kids. Some of them are already adults and they have own families. He has been able to evacuate them into the western part of Ukraine, and they are going to transport them to Germany. There is a wonderful facility for them reserved.
I mean, it seems like even it's a terrible war. It's horrible. It seems like people have faith in God and our contacts, our partners, they are still believing in God. They are strong in their faith.
Absolutely.
In the middle of the war.
It was amazing. I'm sorry that you cannot see that documentary. Probably it will be translated in Sweden. But they have shot actually the billboards on the road to Mariupol. And you can see big billboards saying that God is protecting Ukrainian forces. Please pray for God. We expect miracles. Such billboards there on the road there. So they are roughly Christian nation. I have heard even some of the testimony that even 2-3 million people have kneeled down on the squares to pray that God will intervene.
I think I saw some footage somewhere about this, but I can't confirm it. But I saw that picture. Yeah. That they kneel down and pray to God for protection.
Yeah,
actually.
And we have the similar kind of experience in Finland. If we go back to the war with Russians, 1939, that's our president, Kyösti Kallio, said on the radio speech that now we need all the help from God, please kneel down. And the people on the grocery stores kneeled down and prayed, and God responded. So I believe that this kind of prayers God heard. God will really, really much hear in the heaven.
Yeah, because it seems like middle of the worst war you can imagine, God is still in control. It's hard for us to understand who lives in peace now, what they experience, but the faith is still strong, as to say.
Yes.
And for me, it's they are heroes.
They are heroes.
I mean, we cannot. We can just try to understand how they feel.
Yes.
We are not there.
Yeah. We are not there, and I have figured out myself the bigger picture behind. That is the spiritual revival of whole Europe and the other nations as well. Because God first shake with COVID-19 all the nations, that they cannot trust to all these authorities that we have. And now he has, God is taking care of this war. He will deal with Vladimir Putin. But as a side product of this evil thing, I believe that spiritual awakening is taking place in Europe and other nations as they start to seek out that if there is really living God who can help us.
And that's our main mission in our mission work, is to see it transformed and change life, start to believe in Jesus Christ anyway.
Amen.
Of course, but it's hard to see those pictures. It's before your eyes all the time. So but we're still praying.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, what you say is that our mission work there is they can trust us, they can invest in our mission work because the help is. The help is finding people.
Yes.
And we also have, Hanna Hauka has been there.
Yeah, number of times.
During the wars, I mean.
Yeah, been there a number of times. 2 weeks ago he was there. Now he's going back during the Easter time, and he's going to deliver massive, together with 2 massive trailers packed with medical supplies and aggregates and all the needed supplies. They are bringing them to the Eastern Europe and to the field hospitals that are desperately seeking medicine and bandages and all this kind of stuff, because people come to there burned and without limbs and others, and they need immediate assistance.
He's a brave man.
He's a brave man. I respect him very highly.
Ari, the program is ending soon, but if we try to wrap it up and say that what is happening in Ukraine is a disaster, and we know it and we've seen it, but our mission work is still going on as it can, and our contacts is there, and they work as much as they can, and we have humanitarian aid on the ground.
Right.
But also we have spiritual aid,
right,
in form of books and printing books and so.
Yeah, and in addition to that, actually, before the war started, we were able to negotiate the nationwide TV channels to give footage for our stories. So all these testimonies that were in the book were now in the nationwide TV. Actually, we have heard report that one of these TV towers was bombarded by Russians, so that channel was wiped out, but there were still 2 others who were showing all the stories while we are still speaking here. So the campaign is still going on. Wow. Of course, it's a different kind of campaign that we ever planned, but we wanted to make sure that all those Ukrainians who are watching still their TVs in Western Europe or Western Ukraine or other parts that are not bombarded, they can see how Jesus Christ is transforming.
And God knows the future. The only thing we can do is to put our faith in Him and trust Him.
Yes.
It's the only thing we can do, and pray.
Yes, that's all we can do right now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ari, for coming this evening. We will continue next program also.
Yeah.
Continue to talk about Ukraine and some on Russia, of course. Och jag vill bara säga till dig, du som finns med oss i Sverige, våra missionsvänner, att vi har ju den här tidningen som heter Mediemission. Och i den tidningen så har du all information du behöver. Vi har mycket fotografier, vi har reportage och vi har också det som ligger i pipeline, det som kommer längre fram. Var med och ge din gåva, dina pengar, din ekonomi, dina förböner in i Ukraina just nu. Vi behöver din hjälp. Och via hemsidan mediemission.se så har du all den information du behöver. Swishnummer, 90-konto som är för din egen säkerhets skull. Och som du hör Ari berätta så går hjälpen fram. Vi har egna logistiksystem som gör att hjälpen når fram, och vi har bilar som går, bussar. Så vi vill önska det bästa vi kan göra ifrån vårt arbete, och det önskar en Guds rika välsignelse, och så hoppas vi att vi får ha det med nästa söndag kväll igen.